Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. CC here, Chris from New York, Westchester County. It just occurred to me on Friday I never gave you something to think about, keep you on your toes. So, I'm going to give you one of those and I got something else to tell you. This has to do with the sun and the moon, very quickly. And I want you to think about something. Now, when we were kids, we were told we live in a solar system, that our solar system is revolving around the sun, traveling at... Well, actually, you know what? They didn't say that when I was a kid. We were stationary when I was a kid. Now they threw that in there, and now we're flying through the universe at 66 or 65,000 miles per hour. I don't know. Who knows? These are all made-up numbers, my friends. All made-up numbers. Anyway... But we were brought up to believe that, and we were brought up to believe the solar eclipse, the moon jumps in front of the solar eclipse and eclipses the sun. Here, it's like once every, 50 years or so, or 30 years or 25 years, something like that. And it's probably the same with you too. When you get 100% saturation. I'm not talking partial here and there. The next one's actually happening in the UK. 2020, I believe. 2020, 2021, I believe. It's going to be a partial one, though, only about 60... I think 40%, something like that. Anyway, and I believe we're going to have one too, but I got to look that up. I'm not 100% sure when the next one here in New York is going to be, but we were brought up to believe that. Now, as a flat earther, you know that's entirely inaccurate. Bullshit, nonsense. Something else is eclipsing the moon. Whether it being its own light source, it's doing it itself, or there's something else up there eclipsing it. I happen to lean toward that it's the light source of the moon that's actually making that big disk in the sky disappear. Now, my point is here, something for you to think about. If we can figure out what is actually eclipsing the moon, I think that'll answer a lot of questions. I mean, eclipsing the sun. I think it'll answer a lot of questions of what the sun actually is. And does it need to regenerate power? Every so often, if it's a tangible object up there. Why would the creator do this? When obviously it's not the moon that's eclipsing it. Why would he do this every once in a while? I'm sure there are eclipses all over the plane all the time, but, what is the point of it? I mean, is it to keep us on our toes? To make us think? To believe we live in this solar system? But I don't think the creator even knew what we were going to even come up with, with ideas of what we actually live on, or we're told that we live on. What we actually live on is a plane, and there's possibly a firmament up there, and maybe more land. I don't know. I have no idea. So once we figure out that mystery, I think it'll answer a lot of questions of exactly what that is up there. Okay, and when it generates power, when it needs power, I don't know. All right, I just want you to think about that, and let me know what you think. Now, when it comes down to the sun and the moon, very quickly, I wanted to throw this in there too. The moon, as we know, because I've gotten some comments on this, does not go over a horizon. Okay, it moves over us straight, and it goes straight down until it disappears. All right, now you can't really see this. And I'll tell you why. Okay, because we were brought up to believe that this is going around our planet. Okay? And this is a basic sociology test for you guys. Alright? If I tell you 5 plus 5 equals 11, okay? And I tell you that over and over and over again, you're eventually going to believe it. Okay? Especially if you're a kid and I tell you this. And you're actually going to see the numbers in your head. You're going to see the answer in your head. And that's why I think people's perspective of looking at the sun, they have this embedded that we live on a planet and it's the sun revolving around the sun and it's going over the horizon. We see this. We relate to this. Now, if you can reprogram your brain and see that this object up there is going straight across the sky and disappearing into the horizon and then reappearing back up into the horizon and actually getting bigger. All right, if you can reprogram your brain to do that, maybe you'll be able to see what the sun is actually really doing up there, because it's not setting, it's not rising. I know I say it too. It's hard to get your, brain thinking on that level. But as the sun is leaving the horizon and disappearing, there's other channels that say there's a portal over there. Now, I'm not even going to get into this right now because it gets a little complicated. Then we go into a simulation, all right? And the plausible possibility of something beyond flat Earth is something that I've spoken about, and I'll continue speaking about it. Not something I wanted to get into right now. I just want to point out some basic shit to you. I see this guy just passed me about 10 miles ago, going about 120, and yep, there it is, Range Rover. Have fun with that ticket, my friend. Yeah, the cops all over around here. What are people thinking? I mean, you can't drive like a lunatic. Anyway, so I want you to think about that too. All right. Now the moon is different. Remember, we're looking at these objects in 3 dimensions. All right. We're seeing the objects in the TV when they do little shots of the moon, little shots of the sun in 2D, basically 2-dimensional is how we're looking at it. So when you see the sun go over the horizon, you actually can see it better on a television. You can really get the perspective of it, because obviously you can't look at the sun. All right, you can just barely make it out right when it's going, over the, when it's going away from us. But still, you can't really focus in on it. When trying to find a movie, I wish I could give you one. I've seen it a couple times. I can't think of one off the top of my head. Maybe I'll get into that on Sunday. I'll do some homework and stay tuned. Okay, I'll let you know. So the moon is a little bit different. The moon actually looks like it's almost like a projection once you understand flat Earth, onto the firmament. It really does in a way. I mean, you ask, well, why isn't the shape become deformed? Because the firmament could be, oval shaped or this or that. Well, then I look at the Hayden Planetarium, or any planetarium. Have you ever been to a planetarium? Have you ever seen how real it looks in there? I mean, you can't tell, and that's under a dome. It's the same thing. Now picture that under an immense size. You wouldn't see it. You really wouldn't. Now, that's in a sense in projection. All right, now in simulation, which I've touched on, these objects don't exist. I think everybody's looking at a different sun and a different moon. Okay, and how I explain that very quickly is the moon that I see is different from the moon that you're actually looking at. They look exactly the same, but they're not, because there's many of them up there, and we're seeing them individually. Just like some scientists, when we look into that amazing light show, space, up there, sometimes if you think about it, you almost can create it in your head, and it'll appear, and you can see it. But when you stop looking at it, it's almost like it's not there anymore, in a way, if that makes sense. Okay, I want you to, just think about those couple of things. I don't know if okay. All right, you know what? Let's just get into Hollywood very quickly. All right, I found a couple of other references that just are more ridiculous and show you how bad it really is. Because every movie in Hollywood, it seems like, that I've looked at so far has these numbers in them. 33s, 66s. I want to refer back to a movie. It's called The Doors. It was on cable just the other day. And, I'm just looking at his death, He was born in 1943. He died in 1971, the lead singer. I mean, look at those numbers. Do you see the 33s in there? And there was one part of the movie that, going up a hill, I gotta pop my ears. That's very annoying. There was one part of the movie that he had a t-shirt on that said 33 on it. After that movie, I'm doing spring cleaning, so when I do that, I don't really pay much of attention to what's on TV. I just have it on there for amusement purposes only. And the movie The Core came on, and they were in the center of the planet, and they were trying to get the core to move again, or some stupid movie like that. When you get into Flat Earth, you look at these movies, you're just like, oh, shit. Oh man, now it's all a cartoon. It's a joke now. It really is. Well, they were figuring out or calibrating all the bullshit that they were trying to do to get the core to jumpstart again, or whatever they want to call it. They were coming up with all these numbers: 66,000, 33,000. I mean, all the numbers are there. All the fakeness are there. All the license plates. The numbers on a car. It's all there for you to see. It's right in front of your eyes. I don't know who did this. I really don't know. Rumor has it that before they start filming a movie, some people come in and start planting all these little seeds around. That's what they said in the Back to the Future movie. But I don't know if that's true or not. I really don't. All right. I got another call actually coming in. All right. I thank you for viewing. I thank you for your comments. And I thank you for letting me be a part of your life. Okay?